I want to address what's happening with how the UN resolution against Israel saying that they cannot build any more settlements in the so-called West Bank, which is nothing more than a term that they want to use to justify their and say that Israel's occupying the land. Well, you know what? We got this little sliver that's basically about the size of New Jersey, and you've got all these Muslim countries around there. All over Africa and the Middle East is all Muslim. But Northern Africa and all the way over to Pakistan is Muslim. Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Oman, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and Tajikistan. You know, all these Muslim countries all the way over to Pakistan. From the Mediterranean to Pakistan, and then you've got all the stuff in Africa. And what it comes down to, you see like what's happening with Europe, how the Muslims are invading Europe. You know, it's all about their pawns in Hasatan, or Satan's game, the adversary's game. This, like it says, Satan is the prince of the power of the air. He's the ruler of this world. Just like like Yeshua said, my kingdom is not of this world. We're gonna have tribulation in this world because it doesn't belong. I mean, Yeshua bought it with his blood. But only those that accept Messiah are actually gonna change and be in the kingdom. And ultimately what it is Hasatan, Satan, the adversary, wants to rule the world. And Israel, not only the state, but those of us who are Hebrews that have crossed over from death to life, and the set apart ones, stand in his way. The state of Israel is basically the only thing that stands in his way. He's got Europe, he's got the United States. Satan has Europe, the United States, the South America, the Caribbean, the all over the Pacific Rim, and all over the place. They're I don't want to say Christian, but anti-believer. Because, you know, that's a whole nother story. But basically, his goal is dominating the world. The New World Order is Satan's attempt to take over the world. That's what it comes down to. Every time there's a war, it's because they want to redraw the boundaries. You look at if you look at maps from before World War II and look at where everything was, and then look at the countries after World War II, there's differences. If you look at World War I, but before World War I, and the climate there, with the czars and the kings, basically, the divine right of kings, so called, the divine right of kings, quote unquote. You have those. before World War One, and you had the Ottoman Empire. But after World War One, the Ottoman Empire was broken up, and then you had the Balfour Declaration, which allowed Jews to be in the land, which they didn't become a nation until they didn't declare independence until 1948. But and the Ottoman Empire was, lines were drawn. The Kurds suffered in that, and you had Sykes-Picot that was an agreement about how the land was supposed to be divvied up in that region after they destroyed the Ottoman Empire. And then you have World War II that actually created the State of Israel because of the persecution. The persecution was the excuse for the State of Israel. Now, as part of the plan for the 3 world wars, the first one got rid of the kings in Europe. The Second World War resulted in the establishment of the State of Israel and of the UN, because they tried the UN and the League of Nations after World War One. Then you have that they want World War III to destroy the Muslims and the Jews, and probably Christians in the process. So, believers, those that believe in Messiah. And that's ultimately what you're seeing is a fulfillment of prophecy. Every nation will turn against Israel. But it's for the glory of Yahweh that happened. Because sooner or later there is going to be a war, and I believe it's coming up this next year. Israel's gonna be attacked, but that fits the biblical pattern. All the enemies attacked, they didn't have to worry about offering terms of peace to cities because the kings came after them. You can read that in Joshua. You can read it in Kings and Chronicles, 1st and 2nd Samuel. The came after Israel, and Israel had to defend itself. Nothing changes. And that ultimately, that's the squeeze. And you're going to see, whether it be one of the wars in Zechariah 12 or 14, or whether you see it be the Psalm 83 war, you can debate that as much as you want, I suppose, but you're going to see, I believe you will see that Israel will be surrounded. Jerusalem will be surrounded. And then the enemies will be destroyed. In Revelation, fire comes down from heaven and consumes the enemy. And so you're going to see some of those things happening. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of perspective about it, and realize that our battle is not against flesh and blood. I was really angry that when this resolution passed and what was going on, but I had to be reminded, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and the world forces of this darkness. It's not that this is a spiritual battle manifesting in the physical world. Shalom, shalom, and may Yahweh bless and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you his peace.